There's a moment almost every saver hits. You check your account, you see a number that took years to build, and instead of feeling proud, you feel stuck. You know you're supposed to invest it. You've heard the advice 100 times. But saving feels safe, and investing feels like the first step off a ledge. One bad move and the number you worked years to build could shrink instead of grow. So most people do either. They keep saving, telling themselves they'll start investing once things settle down, and things never quite settle down. Meanwhile, the account balance keeps climbing slowly, which feels like progress. But progress toward what, exactly? A retirement that's still decades away, funded entirely by a number that barely outpaces the rising cost of everything around it. Here's what nobody tells you. Turning saving into investing isn't one decision. It's not a leap. It's a path, specific sequence of steps, in a specific order, that takes the fear out of it almost entirely. Today I'm going to walk you through that exact path, start to finish. Let's define our terms first, because this is where most people get stuck before they even begin. Saving is money you protect. Its job is safety and access. You can touch it tomorrow, and it will still be there, dollar for dollar, maybe with a little interest. Investing is money you grow. Its job is to work over years, which means it can also lose value in the short term. Same word, money, two completely different jobs. The mistake almost everyone makes is treating these as a single pool and asking, should I save or invest? As if it's one choice. It isn't. The real question is, how much of my money needs the safety job, and how much of it can take on the growth job? Once you separate those two jobs, the fear mostly disappears, because you're not gambling your safety net. You're only investing what was never supposed to sit in cash long-term anyway. Think of it less like a single bucket and more like two accounts with two different employers. One is hired to protect what you already have. The other is hired to grow what you can afford to risk over time. The path below is really just the hiring process, deciding, step by step, how much goes to each job before any of it starts moving. Step 1. Build the floor before you build anything else. This is your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account, completely separate from anything you plan to invest. This money is not starter investing capital. It's the floor that lets you invest everything else without panic selling the first time the market dips. Step 2. Kill high-interest debt before you chase market returns. If you're carrying a balance at 20% interest, paying that off is a guaranteed 20% return with zero risk. No index fund promises that. This step feels unglamorous, but skipping it to start investing sooner is one of the most common and most expensive mistakes in this entire process. Step 3. Capture any free money on the table. If your employer matches retirement contributions, that match is an immediate, guaranteed return before your investment has even grown a single dollar. Contribute at least enough to get the full match before you open any other account. Walking past free money to invest somewhere else is backwards. Step 4. Open the account that matches your actual goal. This is where people freeze, so keep it simple. Long-term retirement money goes in a tax-advantaged account like a 401k or an IRA, because the tax break compounds right alongside your returns. Medium-term goals, a house down payment in 5 to 7 years, belong in a regular taxable brokerage account, since you may need that flexibility before retirement age. But the number on the screen and the actual buying power of that number are two different things, and the gap between them only shows up later, usually right when you finally need the money to buy something. Put it in concrete terms. $50,000 sitting in cash for 15 years, earning just enough interest to roughly track inflation, still buys you roughly what $50,000 buys today, nothing more. The same $50,000 invested at a long-term historical market average, even after accounting for a few rough years along the way, tends to grow into something meaningfully larger in real, spendable terms. The dollar amount on the statement was never the point. What that dollar amount can actually purchase later is the point, and cash alone quietly erodes that over long stretches of time. None of this means investing everything you have is smart, either. If you're going to need the money within a year or two, keeping it in cash isn't fear, it's correct. Markets don't move on your schedule, and a downturn right before you need to withdraw can do real damage to a short timeline. The floor described in step 1 exists precisely because some money genuinely belongs in cash, permanently, not temporarily. It's also fair to say the path above assumes a stable income and no urgent debt crisis. If your situation is less stable than that, the order of operations might shift, but the underlying logic doesn't. Protect what you can't afford to lose first, capture free money second, and only then take on growth risk with what's left. Here's the shift I actually want you to walk away with. Saving and investing were never opposites. Saving is what buys you the safety to invest without fear. Investing is what saving was always supposed to become, once it had done its job. You don't graduate from saver to investor in one leap. You build a floor, you remove the guaranteed losses hiding in your debt, you grab the free money on the table, and only then do you let the rest of it go to work. The account balance that feels safe sitting in cash isn't actually standing still, and the risky account that grows slowly for years isn't actually reckless, if it's built on a floor that was never at risk to begin with. The fear most people feel isn't really about investing. It's about skipping the steps that would have made investing feel obvious instead of terrifying. Follow the path in order, and the leap disappears. There's no ledge to jump off, just a staircase, one step at a time. If this helped you see your own next step more clearly, subscribe. I break down the real math behind money every week, no fluff, just the numbers most people never bother to run.